So we got some good news and we got some bad news. Let's start with the good news first. How about that one? CBS and John Ratcliffe. CBS, the institution, the fucking one of the three big major networks, has concluded that there's been fraud in this election. John Ratcliffe backs that up. But in the bad news, this kind of puts a death blow into using the executive order, the 2018 executive order with the meddling with elections and whatever, fucking throwing out electors. Yeah, it requires a report from the DNI, from the head of the defense, or the director of national intelligence. There's no defense there. It requires a report from John Ratcliffe, that he's the head of the DNI, after 45 days. That would be tomorrow. It looks like it's not going to be expected until next month. But we got to go over why it's been delayed. Ratcliffe knows, based on everything that he's seen, that there is fraud at some level, that Chinese communists have something to do with this. Listen, I don't want this to become the fucking Russiagate for the right. It just reeks of that, and I don't like it. But there are other intelligence entities that look to delay this report from coming out. It seems like the deep state is at play here, but let's dive into this. The DNI report on foreign interference in the election expected next month. Delayed report expected to contain information on foreign interference in 2020 election by Chinese Communist Party, Russia, and Iran. We heard that Iran was doing some dealings as well as China, and of course you got to throw in Russia whenever the fucking intelligence agencies are looking into stuff. So yeah, they were Iran, I forget what it was. That was something that the FBI came out and said when the Hunter Biden stuff was originally going down before the election. They came out and said that, yeah, Iran. Oh, it was about the Proud Boys. Iran were masquerading around, putting up flyers declaring that they were Proud Boys and going to come in and cause a bunch of violence. It was fucking retarded. I'm pretty sure I covered it at the time, but yeah. Just showing you that the FBI is really on top of things. The Director of National Intelligence, John Ratcliffe, said in a report on foreign threats to the election would come out next month, which would show interference by China, Iran, and Russia, according to CBS News senior investigative correspondent Catherine Herridge, whatever. Useless suit. DNI Ratcliffe has access to the most highly classified information that is held by the United States government, and he directly told CBS News that there was foreign election interference by China, Iran, and Russia in November of this year. CBS News senior investigative correspondent Catherine Herridge told CBSN on December 3rd. He is anticipating a public report on those findings in January. Amanda Solach, a spokesperson with the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, Odney. Why couldn't it just be the Director of Intelligence National? Come on, just make it work, okay? Come on. Said in a statement December 16th that the intelligence community won't meet the December 18th deadline set by an executive order to report on foreign threats during this year's election. Shucks, we were so close. You know what? I'm sure everybody was just down there working crunch time hours trying to make sure that this was going to happen. Sholok said they notified the delay by career intelligence officials. Oh, fucking figure. She confirmed the report includes information about relevant foreign threats from the recent election. The intelligence community has received relevant reporting since the election, and a number of agencies have not finished coordinating on the product. I wonder who those could be. I fucking wonder who those could be. CIA and FBI. Anyways, Solok said, adding, the Ratcliffe remains committed to the expeditious release of the report. Now, okay, I'm getting this out because tomorrow's the deadline, and I'm wondering if Ratcliffe is just going to release his findings in order for the executive order to be triggered. I think it's highly unlikely, but the idea has crossed my mind, and I was just wondered if anybody else has also thought of that too, because Ratcliffe, for being one of the people inside the intelligence agencies, he is the only one that's actually been loyal to the American people and not loyal to the bureaucrats and to the fellow deep staters out there like Christopher Wray and James Comey of the FBI. I don't know who runs the CIA, and it's probably good that I don't. And of course, the former cybersecurity chief got fucking punted because, well, he wasn't doing a very good job. And what we found out before, and not that long ago, yeah, he was definitely not doing a good fucking job. So Trump was definitely within his power and his purview to get rid of that fucking fool. I can't remember his name, but yeah, he's been rather salty about it ever since. But as we've seen, anyways, let's get back to this. Odny officials didn't immediately respond to requests by the Epoch Times for comment. In a December 3rd op-ed published in the Wall Street Journal, Ratcliffe said the Chinese Communist Party poses the greatest threat to America today and is the greatest threat to democracy and freedom worldwide since World War II. But not that long before, even though the CCP are a very dangerous threat to America and the rest of the world, do you know what the number one greatest threat domestically is? White supremacy. And even Chad Wolf of the Office of Homeland Security, sorry, it's really hard to think when I'm talking like a leftist. He said that. Okay. He said white supremacy is real bad. Hilarious because, yeah, Black Lives Matter is a white supremacist organization. Changed my mind. The intelligence is clear. Beijing intends to dominate the U.S. and the rest of the planet economically, militarily, and technologically. Yeah, and they know that they have an in with Biden. He wrote, many of China's major public initiatives and prominent companies offer only a layer of camouflage of the activities of the Chinese Communist Party. Yeah, exactly. Oh, we have economic interest in your company. Please let us come over and train our soldiers in your Great White North. You fucking stupid Trudeau. Ratcliffe's comments on China reflect those of others in the intelligence community. William Evanina? Sure. Director of the National Counterintelligence and Security Center, sounds official, said in August statement that the United States government is primarily concerned about the ongoing and potential activity by China, Russia, and Iran. And he said that in August. It's almost like they probably had a tip-off on that, which makes the delay in this report even more questioning. Evanina said the CCP had been expanding its influence efforts. Huh. I could tell you that, and I don't have a fancy fucking title. Before the November election, in order to shape the policy environment in the United States, pressure political figures and its views as opposed to China's interests, and deflect the counter-criticism of China. Yup. Why do you think they have such a large controlling stake in all of entertainment? They are trying to sway the public opinion that China, or the CCP, sorry, I should be more specific, isn't a human rights violating evil organization. Yeah, exactly. Easiest way to do that is make impressions on the most impressionable. Oh boy. Attorney Sidney Powell, who filed a number of election-related lawsuits in multiple states, said that there is more than enough evidence to prompt Trump to use his 2018 executive order on foreign interference. She said that the order would give him a range of options. Let's see. Powell's very smart when it comes to reading legal precedent. Her lawsuits may not have panned out, and maybe this was just a little bump on the road in her career, but let's at least hear her out on this one. Given the level of foreign interference, we can demonstrate the country has the evidence in our filings of foreign interference in the election. It's more than sufficient to trigger the president's executive order from 2018 that gives him all kinds of power. Okay, tell us. To do anything that from seize assets to freeze things. Very technical. Demand the impoundment of the machines, which was done in a couple of places, and we haven't heard anything out of Arizona yet, otherwise I would have included it here. Under the emergency powers, he could even appoint a special prosecutor to look into this, which is exactly what needs to happen. Yeah, that would be great, but the only thing that Powell is missing, the only thing that she's missing is that the report needs to be submitted within 45 days. That doesn't mean that a promise of a report needs to be submitted. An actual report needs to be submitted. And because of all the information that she had from her lawsuits, all the affidavits that were there, all of the statistical analysis from the machines that were provided from the different experts out there, I think that there is enough evidence out there. I don't know the executive order, which we've gone over in a previous video. I can't remember which one. It was probably the 3 Paths video from a couple days ago. Anyways, I would imagine that's why I'm thinking that Ratcliffe could issue a report that would somehow kind of meet enough of those standards on the executive order to trigger something. What would happen? I don't know. The fucking weekend would get bonkers as shit, but let's finish this article. According to Powell, we know that there were hundreds of thousands of fraudulent ballots imported into this country. Can we... Listen, this is starting to sound a lot like the Russiagate stuff, okay? I'm just going to throw that out there. All we need to do is just check the fucking signatures. And that's another thing. We should be hearing from Georgia in a couple of days here over Cobb County's signature audit. Even though it's just going to be a fucking straight check where they're just going to check the signatures on the envelopes, which they've done a great job of getting rid of in a bunch of different counties as well at this point. And Michigan's already purged most of their fucking information. So anyways, yeah, Powell said, yeah, a bunch of ballots imported likely from China. We have video of them coming across the border from Mexico. Interesting. The ODNI report, Powell believes, will have huge implications, but if it comes out in January, it's null and void, and potentially, unless it comes out before January 6th, which would be nice, and then senators and House members from the new Congress will be able to meet and contest the electors, which I still think is, of the three cases that we brought previously in the videos past, is the most likely way for Trump to still win the election. It's still a long shot, but it's definitely one of those things that we can take a look at. Nothing in the order shall prevent the head of any agency or any other appropriate official from tendering to the president at any time through an appropriate channel any analysis, information, assessment, or evaluation from foreign interference in the United States election. Oh yes, that's a line from the executive order, so it could be coming. It could be coming, and Ratcliffe's the best option for that one. The order directs the United States government to impose automatic sanctions on foreign nations, individuals, and entities who are found to be involved in the attempt to interfere in the United States election. Interesting. Yes. It says here more about the Dominion systems, and we've seen that all of the expert analysis from the couple of different guys that ran it and showed all of the different errors that come up whenever batches are run through. What was it, 15,000 out of 17,000 batches? Yeah, a little suspect if you ask me. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a heads up on that one. If you guys were holding out hope for the executive order action, it'll just kind of rely on a Hail Mary pass from John Ratcliffe. It's definitely not likely, but this whole week has been oddly quiet, so I wouldn't be surprised if shit hits the fan tomorrow. And hey, if it does, I'll be here to make fun of it. How about that one? Make you guys that promise. I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.